you guys want to try cutting the plywood also?
Sure, why not? So I'm wondering if the airflow is the same or not. Because
the other tool?
Because we're testing this one. Ow.
Yeah, I found out this is actually older than the other one. I was thinking it was the other way around because it had the metal.
One?
Yeah, and it turns out that other one is newer than this one. So why they switched to a plastic detent, I don't know. Why they switched to a plastic guide, I don't know. Maybe money, cheaper.
Is this a wall?
Is it what?
No, it's a Craftsman.
Craftsman, yeah.
We have Craftsman too, right?
Yeah.
The one we were reviewing, yeah.
Wait, what is this?
Craftsman. We're the ones that make the Rotozip, but apparently DeWalt and Bosch and all those other guys make a version of it too.
I like how this is because it's a circle. You actually don't lose a lot of view. It actually only has one side, but then that you take away from how stable it is. So if you actually change it from a circle to like maybe a square, you get where you can actually have a guide. I'm not sure if that's it's gonna help you with the guide, but if you have a square, you might need like two sides to like stabilize it, and you lose a little bit of visibility that way. But yeah, they purposely made this a circle, so you actually have more visibility when you cut.
Definitely one thing I like about that one versus routers is just the fact that I can see the line that I'm cutting along.
It looks bigger.
Yeah, I think they upped the motor size at some point.
I really wish I could turn this on.
It should say.
What? The power?
I think, yeah, but maybe not.
This is 30,000 RPM.
And yeah, that's what that's listed as well.
This 30 RPM.
But I think on their website they list like a 5 amp, a 5.7 amp, and then a 6 something amp.
This is less amps though.
Less amps than the one you're holding?
Well, it's like by one amp difference.
Yeah, that seems like if you go to the website, they only go in like very small increment advances of amps.
They actually already got rid of the cord being up here where the amp.
Yeah, look at that.
And they made the base a little bit bulkier.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, I don't know why they also switched to that quick disengagement type guide, because this comes on and off like that. That to me seems a lot more simpler than how that thing is working.
Yeah, you're trying to wobble it in.
Yeah, it seems so.
I think they went cheap on that.
But look, even if you twist it, there's still all this. I can still do that, and it's completely clamped.
It's already clamped all the way.
I don't know if it's because it's been, used and abused.
Yeah.
But even then, that kind of sucks already. How long you've had that?
I don't know how many years. It was actually my dad's, and then he stopped using it, so he gave it to me.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, they went with plastic with the base and with the button, which is probably why it got jammed. That thing, the button's still metal, I think, right, Vince?
Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
I've never had that thing jam on before.
Yeah, again with this handle thing. You know what it is too? All this area here with this hand. I mean, unless you're super stable on it, you're doing a lot of this. You're applying force down, so you're having a lot of wobbly actions. And this is definitely much bigger, more ergonomic than that one. It's got more soft curves. You don't have those rough lines that you weren't liking.
Probably less cramping in your hand if you're doing it for a long time too.
So we hate this idea?
Which one? I wouldn't say necessarily hate, but I mean,
fast.
Yeah, it comes right off compared to the screws.
Yeah.
They both have their pros and cons with that.
Yeah. But I think if we think about what setting, household setting, kind of quick access, things like that, yeah. And if you really know how to use it, obviously, if you read the manual, was more or less than, oh, I'm going to cut something, I need that handle up here. Oh, I'm going to cut down here. Well, obviously, I don't need that handle. You know what I mean? It's like, get rid of it. But it's also, it works both ways. Because if you actually know that as a user, you wouldn't mind taking the extra time to get this piece. Like, oh, I have to take this off because I'm about to cut, flat. Or you're at home, it all depends what setting. It's like, how much of that accessibility is that easy. You know, you have your cutting, and then you want to pop that back in because they're about to come over here in the next couple minutes and recut that. It depends how much of this has really been like, you know, thrown around, or is it just like, oh no, you know, it's just that one cut I need. I'm just gonna go ahead and pop this out, and I'm pretty much done for the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We don't know what the age difference is between the two, but because they're both craftsmen, you know, you figure they might make the parts universal. So you think, oh, maybe you can take this piece off and put it on this one, you know?
Sure.
But you can't do that, and so.
One thing I'm really hating is how that's not even clamping on very nicely at all.
Yeah.
Like it's this. I don't know if it's the plastic that just wears off much faster, that is creating such low volume of compression. So when I do that,
Yeah.
I feel like, oh, I'm tight, you know? And then, you know, it just sinks in with very little pressure. I didn't even really put much force, just kind of, you know, kind of stabilized myself to get ready, and it just basically sunk in. Over time, then what do you call that? You call that a done tool.
You can't use it.
That one little thing, just there's no point of using this anymore unless you want to do some straight cut. But more or less, if you own something like this, you own a regular drill.
That's one thing that kind of I thought was funny when he showed us this model. I see that red rubber band thing on there. I was thinking that was something John put on there to fix the problem. That's actually part of the tool.
That's actually part of the design.
Yeah, and they're just using rubber grip, which obviously is going to lose its grip over time. If sawdust gets in there, it's not going to grip too well.
Yeah, if you're trying to grip, if it gets dusty, you lose it immediately.
If that's the way they wanted to do it, I think they should have added like those little how spline gears connect to each other.
Right.
Like, I think that would have held it there a little bit better.
Because here, this is just riding on this. That's it. It's not even touching that red
You could
part.
just put gearings in there, and it'll actually hold it really
Well, one
good.
thing too, though, that's kind of confusing is that you have this cool groove right here, and you would assume that this might have a groove, but it's nothing.
Doesn't. That would make sense,
It
yeah,
just-
to have the groove
I
connecting
mean, that
there.
groove makes sense for locking purposes and more compression, but the fact that it's not even in the design, you know, maybe I'm jumping ahead.
Yeah, there's nothing.
You know, it seems like maybe this actually has the ridge there. So actually, when you place this in here, somehow. Oh, I remember this. We didn't even figure this one out.
I think they switched up on the tip because of all these accessories that they made with it.
Why not do the same thing with this one?
Right, exactly. Because I see these grooves
Yeah.
right here. There's grooves to fit right into that. Not a problem at all. That was kind of aggressive. Yeah, see, even. Oh, no, I broke it. I feel like some of the design has been improved, and then some of the quality went down. You know what I mean? Big time. So I'm a big fan of like things like something like this in metal. I mean, that makes a lot more sense to me. This really feels like more of a household
Hobbyist.
item that it's gonna last a long time under the assumption you might not use it that much.
Occasionally.
You know?
Yeah.
And I think this was like, no, you know, we're inventing a rotozipper for a purpose. You know, like we don't know how old this is and what model it is and how long it's been coming. How many more models are down below this? So maybe this was some of the first ones, give or take. Maybe the idea was more like, well, we're inventing this rotozip to really bring out, you know, the usability of a rotozip, this brand name rotozip.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Why did we invent a rotozip? There are, you know, there are routers, there are drills, there's a whole bunch of other things you could use to cut and drill. You know what I mean? So they invented the rotozip for a purpose, for a certain usability. This usability, you know, drilling up the wall, things like that.
Yeah.
You know, so then they probably like, you know, someone's gonna be using this a lot, so we'll be inventing it. Maybe they figured out, well, maybe people are not really using it that much, but we still want the brand name, we still want the product out there. So a lot of things went downhill. You know, especially this is, I think, a huge flaw. Without this, what are you gonna use? Nothing. Maybe he had it like this consistently because he's like, well, that broke. I have a handle at least. You know what I mean? But do you really have to get comfortable with the bad design? You know, now, you know, the user's limited without this piece.
I think how you hold it up like this,
Yeah. be able to, you know, fit into a little corner there, or something like that. You know what I mean? Yeah, definitely. If you're going flat, if you want to cut up straight or down or whatever you like, or not to the side, but definitely not in the. Oh, you know, I definitely need to get it there. You know what I mean? And get something cut. It's like, well, you can't. This sucks. You know, opposed to, well, you know, no problem. Gotcha. Maybe you take this off, but it's still